Okay, let's jump straight into this explainer. Today, we're going to meticulously decode the sacred architecture of the unseen. Now, when we hear about angels, we usually picture, simple glowing beings with wings just floating around on clouds. But the ancient texts, they reveal something completely different. We're talking about a highly structured, almost military-like precision to the cosmos. It's this vast, layered universe with strict borders, intricate chains of command, and ultimate authorities governing reality right behind the scenes.
So that brings us to an incredible mystery. Who actually commands this vast celestial army? Is it the famous angel Gabriel, as he's often known in English? Or is there an entirely distinct, higher entity taking orders directly under God's throne? Well, our focus today is entirely on proving who this supreme commander is. We're going to look closely at the evidence to show, without a shadow of a doubt, that the Holy Spirit is the absolute leader of the angels and completely distinct from Gabriel.
To figure this out, we first need to establish the ground rules of angels according to the source material. Unlike us, angels are entities created from absolute light combined with the Spirit of God. Honestly, to really wrap your head around them, don't think of them as humans with superpowers. Think of them more like pure cosmic algorithms, flawless software. They possess absolutely zero free will. They literally cannot deviate from their programming. No choosing, no hesitating, no disobeying. They are just soldiers of pure light, flawlessly executing exact commands. And most importantly, they have incredibly strict limitations. There's this profound quote that perfectly captures it. "Exalted are you. We have no knowledge except what you have taught us." An angel only knows exactly what God teaches it. Nothing more, nothing less. Their physical and intellectual capabilities are completely boxed in by God's cosmic design. So they aren't all-knowing, and they definitely aren't all-powerful. Even the absolute greatest cosmic beings have rigid boundaries they just cannot break.
Just to grasp the sheer scale of the realm these beings operate in, you have to look at the math provided in the texts. The source material tells us it takes an angel 50,000 human years just to ascend to the heavens. 50,000. To put that into perspective, all of recorded human civilization is just a tiny, tiny fraction of that time. We aren't talking about some metaphorical spiritual space here. This is a highly structured geography that is so unimaginably immense, it makes our entire known universe look like a grain of sand.
And we can actually map this cosmic geography forensically. If we trace the Prophet Muhammad's miraculous ascension, the journey moves logically upward. It starts from the earthly realm, traverses steadily up through the seven skies until it hits a very specific, hard spatial boundary called the Sidra al-Muntaha, and then finally it reaches the ultimate realm, the supreme horizon.
The crucial checkpoint in our investigation is that third step, the Sidra al-Muntaha. This translates to the utmost boundary, and it sits strictly above the seven skies. This isn't just some celestial landmark, It's a profound physical and spiritual threshold. It is the absolute edge of familiar reality. It's the exact point where space, time, and the physical laws of the lower heavens just completely break down and cease to exist.
And here is where it gets genuinely astonishing. One of the most powerful and famous angels in history, Gabriel, physically cannot step over this line. During the celestial journey, Gabriel actually had to leave the prophet right at this boundary. Why? Because the Sidra is so intensely overwhelming that it was physically impossible for him to cross. He was completely overwhelmed by it. So despite all of his immense power and status, Gabriel has a firm, uncrossable limit.
Which brings us to the massive, overarching question of this whole explainer. If the mighty Gabriel is stopped dead in his tracks at the utmost boundary, who is operating above it? Who exists up in that supreme horizon, taking orders directly under the throne of God? Logically, it has to be someone entirely different, operating on a completely different level of cosmic physics.
Well, the ancient texts give us a direct answer in Surah Al-Najm. It introduces a totally distinct entity, uniquely described as the star. And this being is characterized as having intense strength. We're talking about a kind of strength that clearly and fundamentally outclasses the angels who are restricted down in the lower skies.
When the prophet crossed that ultimate boundary, he was received by this commander in the supreme horizon. And this description, it's incredibly mind-bending. Honestly, almost sci-fi. This entity naturally exists as released light. The light is so absolute, so overwhelmingly intense, that this being had to literally compress his pure light body down to the size of a human just to safely interact. I mean, the sheer magnitude of energy we're talking about here is absolutely staggering.
So if we compare these two logically, the contrast is undeniable. It completely proves they're distinct entities. On one hand, you've got Jibril, stopped by the Sidra el-Muntaha, physically overwhelmed, forever bound by the lower heavens. On the other hand, you have the Star, the Commander. He operates seamlessly in the Supreme Horizon, totally unhindered, taking orders directly beneath the throne. They literally cannot be the same being.
The plot thickens even more in Surah Al-Takwir, which gives us our next critical clue. It describes a holy messenger with immense empowerment. But listen to the specific phrasing, stationed securely with the owner of the throne. That exact language places this commander at the absolute apex of the celestial hierarchy, way up in a realm far above the limits of the seven skies.
And here is the absolute smoking gun. The verse explicitly states that this entity is obeyed there. This proves without a shadow of a doubt that he's the commanding officer over all the other angelic ranks. The angels follow his lead because he is the Holy Spirit, the direct, unmediated conduit from the throne itself. If you have any lingering doubts, just look at the brilliant grammar used in the text. It says, the day when the Spirit and the angels stand in a row. Now, in any language, you don't separate a subject from a group if it belongs to that exact same category, right? You wouldn't say the humans and the humans. This clear linguistic split is definitive proof. The Holy Spirit is absolutely a separate superior entity to the general body of angels, Jibril included.
We even get a specific title for him in Surah At-Tariq, Tariq. This translates to the piercing star, the one who knocks through the sky. It implies a very unique permeability. While regular angels are strictly trapped in their specific spatial layers, this commander has the unparalleled power to pierce right through all layers of the heavens to deliver God's commands downward.
When you put all these puzzle pieces together, a flawless chain of command emerges. First, God issues a command. Second, the Spirit, the Star, receives it directly under the throne. Third, acting as the piercing star, the Spirit passes effortlessly through the utmost boundary and down through the lower skies. And finally, the angels stationed below, like Jibril, receive those commands from him and flawlessly execute them. The Spirit is the ultimate bridge. Now, you might be wondering, okay, why does decoding all this matter? It matters deeply because it completely shatters our simplistic view of the unseen. It reveals this awe-inspiring, flawlessly ordered system where every single entity has its exact place. It proves that even beings we think of as unimaginably powerful, like Jibril, have finite hard limits. And most importantly, it forces us to zoom out and recognize the truly unfathomable scale of the Supreme Horizon. This hyper-exactitude isn't just about hierarchy either. It's woven right into the math of the cosmos. Take the number 19. The texts state there are strictly 19 angels of mercy and exactly 19 angels guarding the gates of fire. In that same vein of absolute precision, the firm separation between Jibril and the Holy Spirit proves nothing up there is random. It's all part of an incredibly precise divine mathematics. So, leaving you with this thought, if we've only just scratched the surface by decoding the identity of the commander operating above Jibril's limit, what else is out there? What other astonishing, universe-altering realities are operating just out of our cosmic sight? What other incredible mysteries are waiting just beyond that utmost boundary in the Supreme Horizon? It's definitely something profound to ponder.